Hey guys, welcome back. It is Dave with Integrative Repatterning, and I wanted to share with you another video from the shade of the trees here. Hopefully it's not too sketchy and weird of an optic for you. But I want to talk to you about an insight I had this week that's it's kind of fresh, it's kind of alive, and it's kind of tangential content to my main content about psychedelics and personal development, although it totally applies. So hopefully you like this. Hopefully this will be interesting for you. But I just want to capture and riff with you on it while it's still alive in me. So hopefully this makes a difference for you too. So I noticed for myself, I had just the most amazing day earlier this week where I was just popping. I was alive. I was in a flow state. I was feeling amazing. I was mentally sharp. Mood was up. I was engaged with the world around me. I was delivering optimal. I was super efficient. Everything was just going beautifully. And I just killed it. I was just leading. I was on point. I felt wonderful. Everyone else around me felt wonderful. And it just felt good at the end of the day to have lived in a flow state for so many hours. And in the middle of that, I noticed a capability in me that was spontaneously happening. And this happens when you're in a particular state. You get different capabilities than you get in other states. So this is important to understand. When you're in a certain state, certain capabilities arise out of you. And so I noticed this capability that was in that state that I don't have when I'm in what you could call a low performance state, or when I'm feeling, when I'm kind of crashed and I'm, depressed and I'm moody or I'm anxious or I'm not doing well, right? And this is what I noticed. I noticed that no matter what needed to be done, I was dynamic and flexible. And that this really was a sign of my presence to the moment, my full connection to myself, and my full connection to the world around me. So instead of being forceful or pushy or rigid or consistently in the same mood or withdrawn or anxious or stuck in any one way of being, I found that I was highly adaptive. So whatever needed to happen, I could exert myself if I need to. I could relax and chill if I needed to. I could be charismatic. I could be quiet. I could be sharp. I could be witty. I could be fun to be around. I could take someone seriously if I needed to. I was just engaged with whatever was necessary in the moment, and dynamic and flexible with how I needed to show up in order to maximally kind of engage the world around me. And if you stop and you think about it, I realized that there are different personality traits and that there are different ways of being, and that some people are naturally more inflexible and some people are naturally more flexible. Some people have a really hard time with this and others don't. But if you stop and you think about it, even with people who are, say, more fixed, more rigid, more, consistent in how they are, or slower to shift and slower to change, even those kinds of people, when they get into a high performance situation, so let's say you have someone who is a singer or a stage performer or a musician or a high performance athlete, and they kind of have a rigid personality. When they get on stage, when they get in the arena, when they get wherever they need to go to rock it, you will notice that their performance itself is dynamic and flexible, and that any high-performing person has to be dynamic. And if they're not dynamic, they're not high-performing. It just kind of comes with the territory of being in a high-performance state, that you are dynamic and flexible, meaning that you're tapped in. You're feeling all your resources of yourself. You're feeling all of your own energy. You're feeling one with your body. You're feeling at one with your mind. You're feeling at one with your instincts. You're feeling at one with your senses and your perceptions. And if you're not, you're constantly adjusting, right? And now contrast that to whenever you felt depressed, whenever you felt anxious, or whenever you felt disconnected or dissatisfied or moody. Typically what I find for myself is when I'm in any of those kind of low performance states, that I am much more monochromatic in my expression. I'm much more rigid. I'm much more stuck. And that's exactly how it feels, right? Like it feels like you're stuck. It feels like you're stuck in one way of being and you can't shake it off. You can't get out of being stuck. And that stuckness, especially if it becomes a habit, right? If it becomes something that the nervous system becomes used to, is something that then defines our experience. So I think that this is a really good marker to use for where you're at. How tapped in are you? How healthy are you? How switched on are you? Because when you're switched on, I don't care who you are, I would put money on that you are a more dynamic version of yourself. You're more flexible, you're more engaging, you're quicker, you're sharper, you're more adaptive to those around you. And that when you're less adaptive, when you're more rigid, when you're more stuck in one way, typically you're not doing as well. So that's food for thought. That's food for thought on what it might mean to be mentally and emotionally healthy. And, I wasn't planning on self-promoting in this video because it's a little bit early still, but I'll just say, because I'm a hypnotherapist and because, my skill set is teaching people how to shift their state, right? Teaching people how to move from one state to another and how to get unstuck and how to break these stuck states up and fluidly adapt and learn how to consistently do that. Since that's kind of my skill set and what I do and what I teach, if you're interested in learning more about that, please comment below or contact me, or let me know if you're interested, because I am developing courses to teach people how to shift out of different states and into a better state. And I do one-on-one coaching. I do help people with this area. So like I said, I wasn't planning on self-promoting, but since it's up, I might as well just mention that this is something I know how to do and know how to teach you how to do. And that really, life is so much better. It's better for me. I'm sure will be better for you too, when you find that capacity to be switched on and more adaptive and more flexible and more alive and more present in the moment and trusting your faculties more and less self-reflecting and less caught up and less stuck with some sort of issue or less addicted to any one particular set of neurochemicals. I think the most addictive neurochemical is the neurochemicals of change, of fluidity, of adaptiveness, of expression and aliveness that comes when you feel like you're capable of so much more. So anyways, that's food for thought. I hope that helps you, whether or not you work with me or whether or not you feel inclined to sign up for the courses when I make them. Hopefully this content at least serves you as food for thought to think about self-reflecting. How flexible are you right now in your life, and what that might mean about your mental, emotional, spiritual health. So take care, be well, and I'll talk to you guys soon.